Welcome back, everyone. Next, we have Evanesce, whose vision is to be the global leader in new and innovative technology, creating a truly circular economy, designs, develops, and manufactures sustainable packaging solutions using the latest advancements in material science. Please welcome its founder and CEO, Doug Horne. Welcome to the conference today, Doug.
Great to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, the floor is yours. Call me back when you're ready for some questions.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Well, it's a great pleasure today to introduce Evanesce. As was just said, I'm Douglas Horne. I'm the founder and CEO of the company, and we have some very, very exciting technology that we've developed over the last number of years. Standard disclosure statement. Basically, we have a patented portfolio of technology to lead disruption in this industry, and this is a massive industry, a $1 trillion industry that's really, in a process of really making some significant changes. Everyone sees plastics and styrofoam on a day-to-day basis, and people realize that obviously this isn't sustainable to continue on in this direction. Obviously there's alternatives out there, and we can continue to build alternatives, but many of the alternatives are paper thin, are covered in chemicals that are carcinogenic and poisonous, and really creating something that is new, novel, and organic in its nature is something that's really, really exciting. So, we have a very cost-effective alternative, which is one of the real keys to this as well. Economics is really, really important. The difficulty in sustainability in the past is that people have created products that, they said, well, this is compostable or biodegradable, and it's 5 times the cost of styrofoam or 10 times the cost of plastic. And it just doesn't work that way. For large producers and large users of this material to be able to adapt, it needs to be very cost effective. And that's what we've really been able to accomplish. We have a project ongoing right now with one of the world's largest restaurant chains. And, we basically also have a very, very exciting project ongoing right now with one of the largest meat packers in the world as well. The really cool thing about our technology and what really makes it different is that it's basically made out of, starch and fiber, and it predominantly starch. And it's the fact that it's so much starch that really makes it much cheaper than a lot of the fiber solutions that are out there. Basically, this is a process that we ourselves have created and we have patented globally. It mimics the insulation and rigidity properties of styrofoam, so it looks and feels much like a piece of styrofoam. And really, that's what's the true excitement about it, is that it really does, in many, many cases, unlike sort of other products, really sort of provide a solution that's very, very similar to what people are used to. That being said, it actually does things that many styrofoam products just can't do. For example, you certainly can't put a piece of styrofoam in the microwave or oven. It'll melt instantaneously. And obviously, our product does allow for that. So, you can make a prepared meal, you can put it in our packaging material, you can put that directly in the oven, and it really makes it, a very, very good solution for that as well. Microwave, it's interesting how many people take their, Starbucks cup and put it in the microwave to warm their coffee. The damage that you're doing to yourself by doing that, the volatiles that come off of that cup into your coffee when you warm it up that way, is just scary. And yet people continue to do that. Our cups are safe. You don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry about, chemicals getting into your coffee or other, nasty things coming into your coffee as a result of it. The other really, really cool thing about our technology is it's not a specific starch or a specific fiber. So basically, depending on where we're making it, it can be potato starch, it can be pea starch, it can be tapioca starch, many, many different alternatives that keep it very low cost in combination with many different, fiber alternatives. So, whether that's, a wheat, chaff and husk, or whether it's pea pods, or whether it's corn husks, rice husks, many, many different options that are available that keep our costs down and really, really make it exciting. So that basically, if you compare our product to, other products that are out there in the market, it basically is much, much cheaper. And the exciting thing about it too is it's all patented. We have a process patent as well as a composition of matter patent. Basically, we anything that's made of more than 50% starch would likely be in infringement of our patents globally. We've got patents that are issued at this point in many large jurisdictions in the world. I think one of the things that's most exciting to us is our patent was actually issued in China. And one of the things that people talk about in sort of theft of technology is, obviously the Chinese oftentimes, don't respect intellectual property. But, if you have a patent issued in China, which is what most people don't do, basically that protects you there as well and allows you to work with large players that help you out, protect you as well. So, we're excited about that, patents in India as well. And so many, many large countries that certainly protect our intellectual property globally and really bring value to the company as we move forward. As I was talking about, this really is a shift. If you take a look at, the traditional, materials, pulp fiber materials, they look and feel like paper plates. You see them around quite a bit. Or takeout containers that are paper thin and, leak and those types of things. The exciting thing about our material compared to those is that our material is about 30% cheaper than that to manufacture. So obviously, we have some really good economic advantages as well. When it comes to plastics and EPS foam, which most people call styrofoam, basically, we're not all that much more expensive, which really, really makes things exciting as well. But as I say, we've got advantages over those traditional materials that really do make our product a better product for the market and a better product for people to use as the future goes on. Certified compostable, backyard compostable, although we certainly wouldn't recommend that. It really, really does tick all of the boxes and really provide a material that can be used in a wide number of instances and in different verticals. And this is a massive, massive market. When you look at the number of styrofoam trays that are used, when you look at the number of meat trays that are used, 5 compartment meal trays that are used, these are $1 billion of market just in the United States, over 20 billion globally for 5 compartment trays. And it's a market that's continuing to expand. Obviously, during COVID, takeout meals, grew quite substantially, and lots of opportunity around for different uses in this. Cups, for example, a huge number, 25 billion styrofoam cups, thrown away each year in the United States. And that is just, it's a huge, huge amount of waste. And it's something that really, really needs to be addressed. So it's something that we're very excited about and about to get to market with our new Star Fiber product with some very, very high profile and very exciting projects that we have ongoing right now. The other exciting thing about sort of the way that Evanesce has been structured and the way that we approach the market, which is also good, if you look at the amount of money that we've raised, which is about $30 million to date, we're continuing to sort of build and innovate and grow. But it's not that we're looking for 50 million and then 100 million to build out machinery and equipment to continue to supply the market. One of the things that's exciting about our model is using licensing and using players that are already within the market and introductions from some of the clients that we're using right now that they're currently making to some of the big players in the market to use our technology, to license our technology, and to provide cups and trays and bowls and all of these other items to these companies. From the companies that are currently, supplying them with styrofoam and plastic items. So, it's a very good model for us. It's one that is far less capital intensive, but it's also one that allows us to, really penetrate the market much, much faster as well than we may have been able to do on our own. And in dealing with big companies and dealing with companies like McDonald's, who we are, and Starbucks and others, these companies, when it comes to supply chain security issues, if we were the only ones that made cups from our material, or we were the only ones that make bowls or trays from our material, the chances of these companies actually utilizing us and actually going with us in the long run, being a small company that's just growing, is very, very slim. Even though we have the best material around, they want security to make sure that the supply is going to be there, and the cups that they want when they want them are going to be in their stores. And so in dealing with players that they're already comfortable with, in production facilities that they've already inspected and already have comfort with, by licensing those locations, really a much, much faster time to market, and one that really allows us to grow very, very quickly and really get into these spaces. So, as I was talking before, we have a development agreement, and this is, pretty much unprecedented in the company that we deal with. Most of the times when you deal with these large companies, they basically make you jump through all the hoops, and when you finally get through the last hoop, maybe you get the award. But and maybe you don't. But in the excitement of having our material, and we went into a restaurant test with this company in the European Union, and basically it was a head-to-head test against two other competitive type products. We won hands down, and both from an operator and from a consumer standpoint, our cups were far superior. They're insulated, so they don't require a sleeve, so there's cost savings there as well. And so basically they were very, very excited to move forward with our technology. And so in doing that, we basically said, look, we'd like to have a formal project plan put in place that leads to a launch and an award. And they basically initially said, we don't normally do that. In sort of dealing with them and saying, this is important for us, we put that in place in February of this year. We've been moving forward very, very nicely on the plan that leads to basically a launch of our product in early 2025 in the European Union. And then basically a global rollout of the technology. One of the things, we had our project meeting with them in July, and one of the things that was quite exciting from the project meeting was a decision by them to actually move forward with a pilot in North America much faster than we anticipated. So in Q1 of 2025, we'll also be moving forward with a pilot in Canada in a number of their restaurants there. And so we're excited about that and the opportunity. And, that sort of gets me to sort of the part that I was talking about before. How are you going to roll this out? Basically a lot of people say, well, Doug, this is great, but, how are you going to have these, these production capacity in place to be able to do that? And so we have been, over the last number of months, working with several licensee candidates. We'll get some licenses in place in the next couple of months here, formalized, and get the equipment out running so that we can basically get these cups out early 2025. And as I said before, this is a model that works very, very well. Basically we end up with a 8% royalty and a 2% license fee in order to market our Star Fiber brand. So, if you take a look at sort of the Hot Cup program I was just talking about, for example, it's overall about a $300 million a year award. And, basically that shows cash flow to Evanesce of about $30 million with very limited cost to it. But the exciting thing too is, with all of these different licensees that we have, certainly they supply this large restaurant company, but they also supply many, many others. So, rolling out to other restaurant customers and other users of cups and other products, with having this capacity in place, is really a great opportunity for us and for our licensees. The other really exciting project that we have ongoing right now as well is with meat trays. Now, meat trays is a huge market. You can imagine how many meat trays are out there. In the United States, there's hundreds of millions used all the time. If you think, when you get a steak or sausage or any type of meat, but a lot of vegetables as well, they're all using those trays. We have a project ongoing with two very large packers right now, both of which are our household names. One is also I think it's the largest vertical integrated company in the world. They measure their revenues in the hundreds of billions of dollars each year. So you can imagine who they might be. Basically the exciting thing from their standpoint is we're taking their waste streams from their milling operations, and using those waste streams, that waste starch and that waste fiber I talked about earlier, to make meat trays for their meat packing plant. And we have, as we've talked about before, a very experienced operator that's also part of the equation, that basically is doing the actual production work for them. So this is a very exciting project. We started our initial work on meat trays with a different company, one that we're still talking to now, and they too, which is another household name and one that does a lot of work with Walmart at the beginning. They basically also are very excited, because the other thing about our trays, our meat trays, that's exciting for them, is they don't need to retool their plants. Our trays look and feel very much like a traditional styrofoam tray. So when it comes to their wrapping machines and those types of things, these trays just seamlessly go into those systems, and make it very, very easy for them to operate and to move forward. So, very, very easy for them, very, very, exciting, opportunity for them, with a very, sustainable, ESG type product that ticks all of the boxes. And the one thing that I will say as well, while we are certified compostable, there isn't always composting infrastructure everywhere, although the US is spending quite a bit of money right now. There's a compost bill that's coming through the House and Senate right now, with some fairly significant dollars going towards compost infrastructure. But, there's also, recycling infrastructure that's out there. So our trays also meet the mixed paper recycling requirements as well. So it really does make it a very, very exciting solution for a lot of large companies that are looking for solutions that are more sustainable, because that's really what customers are looking for, at a cost that is very, very exciting for them as well. One of the things I didn't mention when I was talking about the other large restaurant hot cup project that we're working on is, one of the things that was so important in the agreement that we had with them was cost and price. And so when we put the project plan together, one of the key elements of that is you need to meet this price. And if you're not going to meet this price, basically, you need to tell us immediately, because, we're going to have to reevaluate the program. We're excited because we've been able to meet that price. Not only have we been able to meet that price, but we have a very, very significant margin on that price target that they're trying to attain. So it's one of the things that makes things exciting for us and for them. The other side of our business, and one of the things that is really something that sort of gives us an entire package and really makes us the complete technology leader in this area, is our biopolymers division. And we've been making straws in our own plant in South Carolina since 2022. Been building that business slowly, and basically, building relationships, which is the other thing that I've sort of talked about, is the relationships in the market that are, it's the partnerships that are really, going to make Evanesce successful in the long run. But we also have, some very, very, strong partnerships with some, very, very big players in the biopolymer field. Minima has been a pioneer. Dr. Wong, who is the founder of Minima, has been in the sustainable packaging world for a long, long time. We have a joint venture with him. One of the newcomers to the market that we're also building a very, very strong relationship is a company called Gaia. It's out of Europe. Basically, they have a product called Biodolimer, and we have a very strong exclusive agreement with them as well, and are starting to make straws and other products, including lids for coffee cups out of their product. So, really some very, very exciting technology and some really, really exciting opportunities from that side as well. Minima has a very large facility with some additional excess capacity right now, that's based in Taiwan, which also gets around some of the current tariff barriers that are facing China, and makes things very, very good for ourselves. And as well, this is a picture of our facility in South Carolina. We have 4 straw lines there right now, as well as our Star Fiber R&D center, which we'll be continuing to sort of build on and piloting different products out to the market as we go forward. As I said before, one of the things that's been exciting is some of the relationships that we've built. We're listed in Cisco, we're listed in PFG, we're listed in US Foods, we're listed in Imperial Dade. These are things that take months and months and months to be able to accomplish. We already have those things in place using our biopolymer division so that we can get our star fiber out to these places as well using our licensee network. The other really exciting, I think, relationship that we currently have in place is Eco Products. It's funny, a lot of people think Eco Products is actually some sort of a sustainable, certification or brand that's from government. Eco Products is a Novalex brand. It is a private brand owned by them. It's probably the largest sustainable brand out there. We have a very strong relationship with them. We provide a lot of straws to them right now, and they're really excited about our Star Fiber product and rolling that out as well. So, a really great sort of exciting sort of opportunity there. Basically, we did about 1.1 million in revenue last year. We're going to do about almost 5 this year, and some good growth as we move forward over the next couple of years. The really exciting thing, I think, the takeaway from this slide as well is the 40% EBIT on that revenue stream as well. And that comes, a lot because of the fact that we're using a licensing model and there's not a huge cost base to that. So, exciting how profitable our sales are and how much opportunity we have in front of us. And I think one of the, especially for investors, one of the most exciting and important things for them is who is the management team. We've got a very solid management team of people that have been there and done that. People, like Brenda Edwards, who runs our finance team, who, has been the CFO of several NASDAQ and listed companies in the past. Chris Berry, a very deep sales cycle. Peter Davies, over 20 years in the packaging industry, and specifically in wet molded fiber and those types of areas. A great board of directors, of independent directors as well. And then basically Brad Alex, who is the lead investor in our current round and has been one of our great supporters with Pyfera Capital for many years, who's been supporting us and helping us out. So, we currently have an investment round that's open. It's open to accredited investors in the United States and Canada. Basically, it's a royalty unit, including a common share and a full warrant. It also has a royalty unit that basically participates in Evanesce's revenue streams until we go public. Our intent is to go public at some point next year. Probably our hope is to do it late second quarter, depending on what the market conditions are. And so basically the royalty unit also has some bonus shares depending on the valuation at the time of our go public. So we have a great strong portfolio of patents, some great proprietary technology that's really exciting for a very large $1 trillion market. We have some really good opportunity with some very big players within the market. One of the ones I haven't talked about as well is the medical industry, which is sort of another vertical that's very, very exciting for us that we have a project in right now as well. So, lots of opportunity ahead of us, a real need within the market for these types of things. And basically, a dirt to dirt solution that is a true, circular economy solution for the market. So, we're excited about where we're at, and we're excited about where we're going. And, if you're interested in more information, please reach out to me, or you're more than welcome to reach out to Brad Alex as well at Pyfera Capital, and he can help you through the offering that we've got, or any other details about the company. So thanks so much, and we'll open things back up to questions now.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Okay, a few questions for you. Glenn wants to know, what is the useful life of your product versus less environmentally conscious solutions, basically before it starts to break down on its own?
Sure. So, our product has a shelf life of 2 years. So, prior to use, it's got a long shelf life, so you don't have to worry about that. And when it comes to sort of the usable product itself, it depends on the barrier properties that we put on it. So for example, a 5-compartment meal tray would last, a few days, basically, with very wet food on it. They would last, at least 6 or 8 hours, which is more than the useful life that it requires. For our meat trays, they're made so that they can go through freezing cycles and thawing cycles and last basically months with meat in them. And then basically continue to have a shelf life of 14 days. So, our products meet the requirements of what they're being used for. And certainly you don't have to worry about any of our products breaking down during their usable life cycle.
Thank you for that. And a viewer, Elena, wants to know, would you partner with co-packers so they can offer your product to all of their customers?
Yes, yeah, no. Our licenses would include, other of their current customers as well, and we do limit geography. We do limit, in some cases, clientele to make sure that we don't have too much, overlap. But we do make sure that our licensees are able to, address their current market for sure.
And Alexia wants to know, how far along is the product? What types of orders can you fulfill when they come?
So basically, we're making basically thousands of units right now on our machines. We're moving to millions of units as we start the beginning of the year with our Generation 2 machines. And so yes, no, basically we've done commercial trials. And we will have a commercial launch of hot cups in Q1 of 2025.
Perfect. And do you have a sales team? Can you talk about exactly what that sales team looks like?
Sure. So we have Chris Berry, who's the lead of our sales team. We have about 3 sales agents, but then we also use a number of sales agents that are out there. One that deals with 5-compartment trays and has a very good network on the East Coast of the United States. As I said before, Eco Products is a very big customer of ours, and they have a very big sales force. We do a lot of private labeling for Eco Products right now, and so basically, rather than reinventing the wheel, we're basically connecting ourselves with some of these companies with very, very large pipes into the market that can really sort of build our sales and build our volumes very quickly.
And Jeremy Wang wants to know, how is the product sold? Is it custom molded, sold by the piece, or by some other metric?
Basically it's sold by the piece, but basically the orders are in the millions in the cases of what we're doing. We're dealing with very large customers, like the restaurant customer that I spoke about, which uses billions of these units globally. So it's a matter of rolling out based upon capacity that we put in place through their geography. And moving forward through that, and then basically using the sales forces within the licensees that we have to sort of expand the product offering and making it so it's very versatile as to what we can make. It's a molded product. The production of it is fairly simple. It's a thermal forming type process using a molding system. It's a dry sort of dough that goes into the process, so it's very flexible. So we can make a number of different things on the same machine very easily. And so whether it's cups or bowls or trays or a lot of different things that are fairly used in the market on a day-to-day basis.
And a few questions about the material versus plastic. So what is the cost
Sure.
versus plastics on a percentage basis? And
so sure, yeah. So it's definitely more expensive than plastic, but it's not like 2 or 3 times the cost of plastic, which is what many of these items out there are. And if you take a look at the cost associated with recycling and all of those types of things, it's actually probably less expensive than plastic. But in a virgin plastic standpoint, virgin plastic, the reason why it's used as much as it is it's very, very cheap. But when it comes to the necessity of dealing with that in the long run, the costs associated with that as well are fairly high. Ours is a very suitably and economic version that, as I say, isn't multiple times the cost. It's about 50% more than what plastic would be, and which is very, very easily sort of absorbed. And given the attributes of it and the fact that it can be both recycled and composted, it's a great option. Especially on the composting side, because most of this stuff has food waste in it as well. So you can throw the whole thing into the green bin. There's not like 5 bins in front of you. You can have one being a green bin, and it all goes into that one bin. Makes it much simpler for consumers as well.
Right. Well, thank you so much for this very thorough and fascinating service that you're offering. So we appreciate you coming on to the conference. We'd love to have you back and hear some more updates.
Great. Look forward to it. And thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, Doug. All right, everyone, stay with us. We'll be right back.